I don't really have very much to talk about, to be honest. Most of the people here have already said what I'm going to say, just in slightly different words. I'm going to just use this time to, I don't know, ramble. Okay, so DevOps teams are a daft idea, right? And you should actually feel bad. How many people here are in a DevOps team? Okay, so I'm going to offend all of you, but hopefully at the end of it you'll be like, oh, actually that doesn't seem so bad after all. Okay, this is a traditional view of development and operations. This is a slide that came out like 3 years ago from DevOpsDays Silicon Valley. You know, we've got development up there. That person's like a little bit weird, sits close to the boss, thinks too hard. We've got operations over here who twiddles knobs, gets easily excited than anything else. This is much more likely to be what we're really talking about, which is the skill set in an engineering organization. The biggest skill set in the engineering organization is actually in the business. We have very specific skill sets that we work on in development, in operations, in quality, etc. This is a sort of a traditional development operations racetrack. You know, you plan things, you code them, you build, you test, you release, you deploy, you operate, you monitor, right? So each of us in this room has at least some skill set there, right? And if you look at that, the DevOps skill set, right, the one that we say DevOps teams for, they hold release, deploy, operate, and monitor. Dev gets code and build, business gets plan, and QA gets test. So really, if you become a DevOps engineer, I use that term advisedly, you're actually fighting with yourself. As you start to push out code and services for the development team, you basically have a development person and an operations person really fighting within themselves. And this is much more likely to be what your organization looks like. Yes, I know this is going to be really rambly Star Trek stuff. And you are going to have somebody in there who can't really talk very well to explain his plan. But truly, DevOps is not the same in all orgs, right? If you think about the culture that you have, your culture in the org that you're with today is different than it was in your previous job, especially if you're in the DevOps teams. And here's where we really boil this down, right? DevOps comes down to 3 fundamentals. Collaboration, thanks Jason. Communication, thanks Jason. Automation, thanks Warren and a couple of the other people as well. All right? The titles up there are actually books. This is much more what happens if you're in a DevOps team, right? You get lots and lots of communication within your own team. That's it. You're talking, yes, we can get this done. We can definitely deploy this. We can keep this robust. You're not really getting the full communication and the automation that you would do. This is much more like that to happen, right? You have small squads of people who do very targeted tasks and have a very clear goal. In the words of the Chef DevOps Kung Fu, now it's going to completely screw up my slides, everybody brings their own history and their own learning to DevOps, right? This goes across the entire organization. If you don't bring that and you don't bring those efforts together, then you end up with what Jez Humble calls what a scrum fall, right? I'm going to give people time to take the photograph of that one. It's on the slides anyway. But what you end up doing is you plan things, you try to release them, it ends up this way. This red square is what you are owning if you are a DevOps engineer. Nobody in this room is a DevOps engineer, no matter how many times we say it, right? Because you're going to give yourself burnout if you're in that position, right? If you're in an organization where you are a DevOps engineer, right, or you have a DevOps team, don't feel too bad. I'm in one too, right? That gives you the opportunity to say, hey, look, these are the specialists that we have on the teams across the organization. We have a tactical specialist, we have a weapons specialist, we have a deployment specialist, we have a coding specialist, right? This is how we get things done. You get to be the person who can actually promote the culture of monitoring things, of actually making sure that everybody is aware of how the team functions. If you're in a DevOps team right now, make it your job to go out to your new company or to your current company and go, hey, let's monitor things, let's see how things work, and let's push things forwards across the organization. Here's the thing, I put operations as red shirts, right? Not every single red shirt dies, right? You may be in one of those wonderful organizations where DevOps is treated well, you are treated with respect, right? But here's what I really want you to think about. I want you to think about squad ops, right? That's systems, quality, users, and developer operations, right? That is a company culture. not just an engineering culture. That's a company culture. So this is me. I'm Cads Oakley. The three things are collaborate, communicate, automate. SquadOps.io is just going to go live probably this week. It's going to have nothing on it.